Hello, and welcome to season 3 of The Desk of a Navy Wife, where you may or may not hear my kiddos in the background. My name is Raina Worthy, and on this podcast, we like to talk about challenges, triumphs, and experiences with being a military spouse. So kick back, relax, make a cup of coffee, or get that evening dinner ready, and watch or listen to me in the background. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a licensed mental health therapist, and the majority of my guests are not licensed professionals. If a guest is licensed, it will be clearly indicated and noted in the episode description. The content shared on this channel and in each episode is for educational and connection purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or replace professional mental health services. Please consult a qualified professional for any personal mental health concerns. Neither I nor my guests are to be held responsible for any decisions made based on this content. Now, let's unpack. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be joined today by Chelsea Thomas. She is the founder of Family in Flight, and I'm going to have her introduce herself, talk about military life as well, and what brought her to finding that organization or being a founder of that organization. Chelsea?
Hello, thanks for having me. This is so exciting. I see you like all around social media, so it's really
Yeah,
fun
oh,
to be
really?
like,
Oh,
yeah, here
good.
chatting with you. Like you said, I'm the founder of Family in Flight, and this organization came to be because my husband and I have been geo-batching, which for those that don't know,
Yes.
geo-batching is living geographically separated, not due to a deployment, not due to a short-term TDY. Typically we like to say like 3 to 6 months and longer is
Okay.
really where geobatching begins. Because we know TDYs and, those short-term trips can be tough and miserable, but it's not quite geobatching where it's multiple years often at a time.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I have been doing this 3 years now, and at about 2 years in, I just got really annoyed and frustrated and started doing some digging to try and find support and community because military is like so full of community
Yes.
and you need that for support and for while your spouse is gone and how to navigate that life. And I really didn't find anything. And not that there's not resources out there, but there wasn't anything specific to geobatching. And again, we're not deployments, so it's really hard to break into that too. We don't classify as that. So I decided I was going to start my own nonprofit and we were going to help families provide travel grants. That's how we started. So we weren't focused on the community at all, I regret to say, but now we have since adjusted our thoughts and, we've kind of talked with several different families and they're like, we don't necessarily need the travel grants, but we want the support. There is no community, and that's what we want.
You're saying they're saying they may not need that travel grant
Mhm.
necessarily. So, what specific challenges do you see these families that are facing the geo batching, and how does your organization step in to support them?
Yeah, so the common theme that we hear and that I was feeling was loneliness and
Mhm.
isolation. And I think that that can cover a lot of military people.
Right. That's like
Um,
across the field, right?
like it's not just us. So I don't want to claim that only geobatchers are isolated and lonely. It's
Right.
everyone. Like,
Disclaimer.
but that seems to be such a common thing because if you think about it, when you are married to a military spouse, you are tied to the base that they are tied to, right?
Mhm.
So for us, I live in Florida and my husband is in Mississippi. So when I'm in Florida, I have no military support. I have access to the base, but I don't
Mhm.
have a key spouse here. I don't have somebody I can reach out to. I don't have a commander or
Right.
leadership or anything like that. And so it makes it really hard because, the base that we're tied to in Florida, they would do like free deployment childcare once a month while your spouse was deployed.
Mhm.
Well, I would love that as a
Right.
single parent, for
Right.
3 years at a time. And we don't have that resource. And if I'm prepping for a hurricane, I'm by myself. Um,
Prepping.
whereas, I if there's a storm in Mississippi, I'm getting the text of like, "Hey, do you need help to prep?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
"I'm not even there," like
Right.
I'm not there. And so that's the common theme that I have found across these geobatching families is that they have now been removed from the military community in all intensive purposes. And because they didn't go with their spouse to the next base, and there's so many reasons why. But
Right.
so for us, we decided, okay, we're going to offer support groups. So we have monthly support groups for these families to jump on and just kind of have that real life talk of like,
Yes.
this sucks.
They don't have to sugarcoat anything, it sounds like. Okay,
Mm-mm.
good.
No, actually, the last One of the last ones we had, we all were like sobbing on this call.
Yes.
Like it is just such
Get a
like a
good
heartfelt,
cry.
like everyone has raw emotions. Some people are coming on for the first time because
Yeah.
are brand new to it, and other people have been on support group calls for months. So that was like our biggest thing that I'm
Yeah.
really excited about. And then we actually also launched earlier this fall for a Facebook page where they can go and just share ideas. They can chat, they can have the community support in between those monthly support meetings. Yeah. So it's really exciting. We have like lots of fun things
Yes,
coming.
that is going on. And it's just with you speaking on that as like a light bulb for me because I do study together chats. I used to do them on the
Mm,
weekend. And it's just about military life all
yeah.
together and people feeling seen, right? Seen and
Yeah.
heard and venting. So we will definitely have to collaborate
Yeah.
offline so that we can have a theme of
Mhm.
geo-batching and have everyone be able to come join your group
Listen, we're
and
here
vice
for it.
versa.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, you come jump on ours and help us
Absolutely.
out.
It's like we're gonna get through this one cry, one tear, at a time, and it's gonna be fine. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's something we tell ourselves. It's okay, everything's
Yeah.
okay. Do you know that meme with the dog where it's burning?
Yes, all the time.
That's
That
us.
is the
That's
life of
us.
military in general. That is.
Yes.
It also reminds me, I'm a big Friends, like the show Friends fan,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of the episode where Ross is having the margaritas and he just keeps being like, I'm fine,
That's
it's
fine.
fine. I don't know why it's all squeaky and weird, but I'm fine.
I'm
And he's
fine. Yeah,
like,
I'm
I just,
totally okay. Yeah,
yeah,
right. I'm seeing double vision right now, but
yeah,
I'm
but
good.
no big deal. Yeah.
Yes. So now my next question for you, how does Family and Flight address the unique mental health? Because us talking about mental health and you doing your chat groups. So how do you address the mental health needs of spouses and families separated by geo-batching? Is it solely just your groups or do you offer some other type of support as well?
No, so we're starting to bring in other organizations.
Okay.
So I just met with somebody again a few months ago who we're working with them to, come up with a plan on middle schoolers specifically, because we
Mm,
have found that middle school children have a really hard time with this.
yeah.
High schoolers can understand. Younger ones, you can kind of be like, oh, parents just kind of gone and they're,
Yeah.
so squirrely anyway that they're
Right.
like, okay, whatever. And so we've started working with other organizations to help bring in that mental awareness because it's such a huge plan. And a
Yeah.
lot of these families are staying behind because they have medically needy children
Yeah.
or they have older kids who are mentally unstable to make that move. And so as a parent, I have 4 kids of my own. We want to help provide the best care possible for those kids. But then on top of that, the the support groups we have found,
Hmm.
to just be. And so eventually we will add more frequent, support groups so that it can be
Okay,
a
good.
continuous thing. And then we've also within the support groups, because a lot of us have either been in therapy or in therapy currently,
Hmm.
or, we are encouraging each other. I'm a big proponent of therapy.
Yes.
I've been in it for years. So we share those tips like, hey, we're really struggling with communication, or how can I help my son who is a
Right.
preteen who's missing dad. And so that really does help with that mental health. And it's also like an hour for yourself. Like we have all really just set aside and make it a priority that we might not be able to go get our hair cut for a year. We might
Right.
not be able to get our nails done anymore. We not be able to do these things, but we have found that we all make this 1 hour a month a big priority because it is so aggressively helpful in that mental health space.
It's amazing that you highlight the middle schoolers because it is that in between. They're already going through those
Mhm.
changes, behavioral and emotional, and just what is it, puberty? Like there's so much coming at them in every way. And sometimes, just with us getting caught up in military life, we're like, oh, everything's good, everything's good. And they're used to it. If they're little kids, you think
Yeah.
they're going to be fine by the time they get to middle school because they've been doing it for 3 to 4
Yeah.
years. And that's just simply not the case. Check in, have those conversations with your child, and encourage them to, hey, let's do this counseling, let's do this therapy, let's do this family outing or something to be
Yeah.
able to check in with them. So I'm glad that you offer that. And I hope that if you need resources down the line, just let me know because
Yeah.
I love to do, I'm like the resource guru. I like looking up things. I might
Perfect.
know somebody.
Yeah, no, send them all my way. 'Cause, like the more we can bring in, the better. Like we're doing those one-off organizations
Yes.
outside of the support groups so that we can have those conversations. And then
Yes.
the other thing, my son asked me the other day, he was like, well, why can't I be in a support group with other kids? And I
Yeah.
was like, that's a genius
That's a
idea.
great idea. Yeah, because
You know,
who
like
more than your peers, right? To sit up there
exactly.
and
And to
talk
be able
to.
to be like, hey, I don't think they're necessarily going to open up like us moms
Right.
do on our support group, but to be able to jump on a call with other kids who, again, don't have a parent that's deployed or on one
Mm.
of those short-term TDYs, whatever it is, but has somebody to talk to about, hey, I haven't seen my dad in 6 months. How about you? You know,
Yeah.
and it's like, yes, that's normal for deployments, but when it's 6 months and we don't know if that 6 month mark is going to create another trip, like,
Right.
we've talked to several people who are like, well, it was once a year, if that.
Man, I think that's a great idea that your son
Hmm.
had. Why don't we get on a call and talk about it? Because again,
Yeah.
if they're supporting each other, they can relate with each
Hmm.
other and encourage each other. Because again, they may not open up with adults like we would
Yeah.
like them to at
Yeah.
that phase. So up here, they may be a little bit more through time. And so
Hmm.
that's good. That's amazing. My next question, where do you hope to see? I know this whole 5 year, 3 year plan. And so I chuckle when I hear people's
Yeah.
responses, but where do you hope to see Family in Flight in the next 5 years, and what kind of impact do you want to have?
So actually, I was just talking to our board about this. We would like in the next 3 years, so sometime before 2030 is the
Okay,
goal, which
okay.
sounds crazy
It
far
does.
off. So I guess
We're
that's
even
actually
throwing a
5 years.
three into this is wild.
Hmm. I know. And I guess that is 5 years, not
Yeah.
necessarily 3 years, but we have started the process to start speaking on Capitol Hill to make a
Oh.
difference because it's not just about the financial strain,
Hmm.
which is a whole different topic in itself, which is why we started in terms of travel grants. And we've moved from that and expanded that. But it's
Yes.
also just bringing awareness that, hey, military, it was in 2024, it was
Hmm.
like 7% of people who participated in that specific survey, so not a
Hmm.
lot, were currently geo-batching. And there's there's no resource for them, and
Right.
it's not, we're not looking for, hey, we want double housing or we want this or, financial assistance.
Right.
It's more of the recognition and hey, there's got to be some give or take here.
Yes.
There's got to be some recognition because you have a huge population of military families who are doing this. And then I want to say it was in the 60% because I was shocked that military families within that survey who participated
Yeah.
had geo-batched at one point in time in their career.
It does happen. My
And it's
husband and I are
huge.
talking about potentially just because we're like, we're
Oh,
not
girl,
sure.
we
Right?
gotcha.
And it was a conversation that we literally had today. So it was an
Mhm.
emotional day because it was like what are we gonna do? Like how's this gonna look? And it's
Yeah.
tr- it happens for if not all a big percentage. I do believe that.
Mhm.
At one
Yeah.
point their spouse was over here for 2 years, 3 years,
Mhm.
and then they were home with their family or trying to find some type of community where they were at
Yeah.
or currently, I guess, stationed, even though the military, like there was nowhere they were
Yeah. Well,
stationed.
and that's where it's like, hey, just that small recognition, right? Like you
Hmm.
brought it up, stationed. Are we stationed here or not?
Yeah,
Because my
right,
husband is in Mississippi. So even having a resource on base here
right.
in Florida would be just step one, just
Yes,
one little human to be able to for us to reach out to locally
yes,
when hey, when I go through a hurricane and my kids are freaking out and we lose power for days and we got cleanup and we got boarding and we got like all these things that we have
yeah,
to do and as a Floridian and my husband is not here to
mm,
help and I get that he's missed lots of hurricanes because of deployments and other
yeah,
trips. But it's very different and way more isolating feeling when there isn't even a slight option for
yeah,
him
right.
to come back for it. So like just
Mhm.
things like that, like just recognizing, okay, where are we stationed?
Right. Like who are we technically attached to, I guess,
Yeah.
over here if we are. And I think that's a good idea with
Mhm.
even like if they were to create like a sponsor, because you know how some
Mhm.
people have a sponsor here. It's like let's find one specifically for those
Yeah.
that geo badged, and that is
Mhm.
your point of contact for this region or for these states or whatever. I think that'd be
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah. So
wow.
our goal is Capitol Hill in the next few
Yes.
years. So we'll
Speak it
get
into
there.
existence.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Speak it into existence for sure. Reach out to whoever you need to get that
Yeah.
forward and pushing. And I'm rooting for you. I'm excited.
Thanks.
Anytime us as military spouses or within this
Mhm.
community push the status quo or we go like I guess you could say against the grain where we're like, no, we're going to challenge this.
Oh
We're
yeah.
going to advocate for ourselves and what needs to change.
Yeah,
What's not
seriously.
working? Because we are living that life. Like this is not
Right.
working.
Well, and if you want retention, there is another stat about it about how
Yes,
retention from geo-batching families drops like a ridiculous amount
I
because
believe
we're
it.
tired of doing it. And if the
Hmm.
military is not willing to accommodate and recognize some of these family situations that are it's one thing
Yeah,
to make that active choice without, and I don't say that there's no reason, right?
right,
But there's many families who make the choice because I have a really great job and I don't want to give it up, right?
right.
And then there's other families who say, I have a medically needy child, and where
Hmm.
you are being placed next that we
I
had no
can't take,
control
yeah,
over,
we can't go.
there
Yeah,
is no option. And therefore, then that family doesn't get to travel to see that spouse because
hmm,
the medical needs are too great and a lot of them can't fly. Or several families have custody issues.
yes,
And so you're telling me that although my kid's stepdad is in Mississippi, they're not recognized as his kids, which is
right.
fine. It is what it is.
Hmm.
However,
Right.
that means that we don't get to go because the military doesn't recognize that as, a potential problem.
Children. Yeah,
And so it's things like that. And I could go on about all of
right.
these lists of things that are preventing, and the
Hmm.
military needs to take that into consideration
Yeah.
because my husband would probably stay in longer if we could be together long term,
Right. If you want to
but
keep your people, provide
Mhm.
resources and
Yeah.
things for them where you can keep them.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to dive into more of, because you're talking about your spouse and your
Yeah.
children as well. So we're going to dive more into your personal journey, your personal story, and as it relates to mental health. So my question for you on this side of the world is, as a founder, how has your own mental health journey shaped the work you do through Family in Flight?
Man, I've done therapy for many years. And so I think being a founder and coming into this position, I was already in a good spot because my husband and I did the pre-work
Okay.
for this. We went to couples therapy prior to this to say, hey, we know we're going to be geo-batching. We
Hmm.
didn't know it was called that at the time, but we know we're going to be living apart. How do we best communicate? How do we best handle our stress? How do we best handle these situations that arise? And through lots of trial and error, because just the few pre-counseling meetings before he left didn't solidify it for us for the next few years.
Yeah.
We continuously kept in touch. And so I think because of my therapy history, I've gone into this very differently than a lot of other people. And I have
Hmm.
been like, okay, I am exhausted. I am drained. 3, 4 nights this week, I've been up until 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning trying to do stuff because I work a normal job. I have kids. And then, oh, hey, let's put out content for,
Right. And then I
geobatching.
became an entrepreneur at the same
Yeah,
time.
like
Yeah.
let's add that to my list.
Yeah.
And so I've had to really, and my husband is really gentle but very good about this to be
Yeah.
like, family in flight is not going to implode if you take one night off. And
Right.
I think that that is a good reminder for a lot of different topics. Your life is not going to implode if you take a night of mental health. And whether
Yes.
that's binging on a show or reading a book or sitting and doom scrolling, I honestly, that can be hit or miss with like mental health, but I
Yeah.
think a lot of times for me, it was like, I just need the brainless activity,
Right.
right? Like my brain is being occupied way too much. So
Yeah.
I think just allowing yourself the grace to take a night off or take a day and just take a deep breath and it's going to be okay.
Yes. And I'm glad you spoke on just taking a day off, because I can
Mhm.
tell you today I took today off at work because I'm in the same boat. The nine to
Good for
five,
you.
the family, all of that, and then
Hmm.
being an entrepreneur. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna go in that back room until it's time for this podcast episode. So again, like you said, give yourself grace. It's okay to check out for a second. If you need
Hmm.
to go cry in the closet for 10 minutes or
Yeah.
something, do what you need to
Seriously, like
do.
just do it. Like
Yeah.
there is no judgment, especially in that military community where we're all like, yeah, we did that 2 hours
Yeah,
ago.
right. Yeah, I cried before I came picked up the kids. Like
Yes.
whatever it is to show.
I've had lots of car rides where I'm like sobbing in the car to and from Mississippi just about, and it's not even, it's just all the things.
It's just all at once. It's not even necessarily has to be you got a call or anything. It's just you
Yeah,
start thinking about it and then boom, right?
yeah,
And just
yeah,
everything
that's
starts to
it.
unpack. That's all you needed. You needed a
Snowballs.
second to think about everything and it all happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was one of the hardest moments for you personally while navigating geobatching, and how did you get through it?
The communication, which I
Mm.
know is a broad statement. So to narrow down, my husband hates phone calls. So as you can imagine, geobatching is based on phone calls. Like that's
Yeah.
all we got. So for us, it was really this battle. I am what is called, lots of people classify it as a babbling brook. I can talk for hours. And my husband, I can't remember what they call them, but it's like a dry ravine or something like that, where there's like
Really?
nothing. And so we've really had to learn, like I've had to learn to tailor down my conversations. Because again, I
Mhm.
could sit on the phone for hours,
Mhm.
and I had to learn to be okay with a 1 hour phone call. And
Right.
if you think about it, it really does suck
Yeah.
because we're communicating for an hour a day. Like
Yeah.
that's what we get. Most people, even if you don't talk when they necessarily come at home, you're still communicating at dinner time with the
Right.
kids or bedtime of, oh,
Throughout.
I forgot
Yeah.
to tell you. And we don't. And so it was the communication of how do I make this phone call not feel like a checklist of all the
Hmm.
things I need to update you on and also still feel connected to you
Right.
while having that. And then my husband on his side, he really had to figure out, okay, I gotta like really hone in. We get 1 hour a day, and as much as
Hmm.
I hate phone calls, I want to talk to my wife. And so
Yeah.
he's gotten really good at giving me the full breakdown of the day,
Okay.
and that again was through therapy. Our therapist was like, look, if you don't tell her, she will literally never know. Like it's
Yeah.
not
Right.
like there is no way for her to like stumble into your work and be like, oh, I saw you doing
Yeah.
XYZ,
This is why
like
you're stressed. Like,
there is nothing. And so if you don't tell me, and same on my side, if I don't
yeah.
tell you what's going on, so the communication we really had to work at, and it was a
Yeah.
lot of practice and a lot of trial and error in the beginning. And we still have issues. There's still nights where I'm like, hi, I don't want to pull teeth to have this conversation. Like,
Yeah.
I miss you. Just talk to me. And he's like, I'm just really tired. I'm like, so am I, dude.
Right. It's like I understand, but tell me about your day or what stressed you out today.
Yeah.
What was your pro? And I can tell you because I again cannot relate with the geo-batching side, and I commend you on pushing through for sure. Deployments, it's the with the conversations, at least it's like, hey, we switched it up too. Like it was, what's a good thing that happened, what's a bad thing that happened, who's someone that you wish you could talk to today, or if you had a second to talk to your mom, what would you say? Like just
Yeah.
random conversations to keep
Yeah.
flowing. So I
Well, and
understand.
yeah, we've done marriage conferences
Yeah.
since geo-batching.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we went to our first marriage conference and they gave us the call. It's called the four. And it's what did you, and you have to do it in this order, and I'll
Okay.
explain why in a second, but it's what did you love about today? What was your low for today?
Okay.
What did you laugh about? And what did you learn about? And
Nice.
so you hit on these topics and you have to start with something you loved because you start positively, and then you do the low because you want to put it in the middle, and then you
Mhm.
follow that one up with the laugh so that you're breaking down the negativity and you don't harp on the negativity. Like,
Okay.
let's talk about it, but then you move on to what's funny. What made you laugh? And so you get to hear these like little snippets of stories of
Yeah.
things um that like you probably wouldn't have heard about if you didn't ask like what
If you
did you
didn't
laugh
ask,
about today,
yeah.
And then another marriage conference told us to ask the other person, what is one story from today that you have not told me yet? And it
Hmm.
could be, hey, I went and I got gas, and on the gas pump, they were singing a song and I jammed out. Like
Yeah,
it could
right.
be something ridiculous. But again, it's that small connection that makes you feel connected to the person that you love that is
Hmm.
miles and miles away. And
Hmm.
that has helped my husband and I drastically.
Oh my goodness. And you know what? I'm gonna take the four L's. So I will
Yeah.
definitely make a note on that because it's like, okay, I've said a couple, but the learn, I have not. So I like that
Mhm.
question. What did you learn today? What did you
Yeah.
laugh about today?
Yeah.
So what practices, aside from your four L's and everything, what practices, habits, or tools have helped you manage the emotional side and the mental load of both family life and running your organization?
Yeah, so there's two that first come to mind when you ask that. One of them is having that safety net buddy
Okay.
that is military. They're in your same position or not. I have learned that I can't always go to all of our friends, right? And I
Right.
can't go to all of our military friends because some of them still don't understand geobatching.
Right.
And so you go to that friend to complain about your situation. Because sometimes you just need to.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's just really hard and you need to cry about it and you need to
Hmm.
have that person that's like your safety net that is not your spouse. Because it adds a different element. You have a little bit more relaxed freedom to talk about it when you're
Hmm.
geo-batching. And it can't be somebody who's going to be like, well, you chose this. Cool, thank you for the support. You can
I did
appreciate
need
that.
that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And so I have two friends, three friends that I can do that with, where I can go to them and just, word vomit whatever it is that I need. The second one is my my all-time favorite piece of advice that I give everybody in this position is a vent container. And my therapist gave this to us when we were going through therapy. And what it is, you picture a Tupperware container because I'm a
Okay.
visual person. So she was like, picture a Tupperware container. You have to start, like, if there's something frustrating. I almost did this last night on
Yeah.
a call with my husband to be like, vent container, because I
Yeah.
was so annoyed, but I wasn't annoyed at him. And so the whole point of this is to be able to say what it is that you want to say. I
Okay.
hate your job right now. I
Hmm.
hate that your job took us apart. I don't like that I have to parent by myself. The
Hmm.
kids are really pushing my butt. Whatever it is,
Whatever.
but you start the conversation and you say vent container. That allows the other person to know, hey, this is free reign.
Okay.
He or she is not mad at me. He or she is just needing a moment of space and peace, like that safety net bubble,
Hmm.
to vent into this vent container. I've done this so I can't tell you how many times. Like genuinely several times a month. Like we do this all the time. And then at the end of it, he's learned, do you want help? Do you want to just vent about it? Like, what do you
Yeah.
need from me? It's not a fix-it situation. And that's
Yeah.
key for the husbands to learn. This is not, you don't need to fix it. I just
Yeah.
need to get it out. And for you to know that I'm not mad that you chose this as your career, because
Hmm.
I fully support you, but I'm mad right now.
Right. I
And
met
so,
it
and then,
today. Yeah.
yeah, like today, right now, in this moment,
Yeah.
like my husband and I didn't get to do one of our weekend trips because he got put on one of his work weekend trips. And I
Yeah.
was like, I get it. It's a really cool trip, but I'm still upset. But I'm not upset at you because you were told that you have to do this. You didn't choose to do it.
Right.
And that's a lot of their career, if we're being honest. Like they don't
It's like
also
you
want
didn't
to
have an
do.
option. Yeah, you didn't have a choice. Like,
No.
yeah.
Nope. And so, and then the super important thing is you close the vent container.
Okay.
So when you are done as the person venting, you have to say vent container closed so that
Okay.
they know what comes next is not part of this. So you can
Okay.
change topics, you can move on. It's, kind of a clean slate, like where do you go from here? And that has really, really helped shape not only mine and my husband's way of frustrating topics in
Hmm.
geo-batching, but also it's, we've talked to a lot of the people who follow us, and it's one of the best and biggest pieces of advice that we give that has been used and successful for families.
Yeah. I haven't heard of
Mhm.
it as a vent container, so I do like
Mhm.
that analogy in the way of you're like, hey, I'm opening this and then we're
Yep.
gonna close it and we're
Yep.
done.
And then
I
you put it
do,
away.
yes, I do believe
Like,
in the practice of like asking, are you venting
hmm.
or would you
Yeah.
like advice or would you like a
Yeah.
suggestion? But then also asking, hey, before I unload this on you, where
Yeah.
are you today? Like that
Hmm.
check-in, right? Where are you mentally today, emotionally today? Do I have an
Yeah.
opportunity to vent? Asking those questions before you even start conversations, just in any relationship,
Yeah.
friendship, marriage, it doesn't matter. I think it's
Kids.
really crucial as well. Yes,
Yeah.
kids, yes.
Yeah. I'm like, are you angry or happy right now? Because I got to
Right.
tell you something.
Where are we? Right. It's touch and go. How we feeling today?
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to other spouses or families who are just beginning their geo-batching journey?
Not everyone is going to understand, and you need to give those people grace. We are choosing this for so many different reasons,
Right.
and don't expect other people to understand, even if you fully explain it, which you
Yeah.
are not entitled to. You don't have to explain why you're choosing it, but give people grace to not understand and
Yeah.
try not to be upset at their response, because you are going to get a wide range of terrible responses when you start telling people that, hey, I'm living 10 hours apart from my spouse. And they go, why
Mm,
would you do that?
yeah.
Well, I don't need to tell you why, but I have a custody schedule with my kids. And
Yeah.
so my husband and I made the choice that the kids were going to come first at this point. But again, it's
You
not
don't owe
something
them
that,
that. Yeah.
yeah, you don't owe them anything. And to be okay with that and just be like, it was a choice we made and move on quickly.
Yes.
I think that if you can learn to be tough in the beginning when it's really, really hard because you're mentally breaking down on a regular basis, you're learning the new communication, the new normal without that spouse, and
Yeah.
dealing with kids' emotions on top of your emotions. And most of us work.
Right.
And so, you're working and trying to hold it together in so many different areas that a lot of times we have found through our followers that that is a big thing, a big
Mhm.
annoyance that they have is, why can't anyone understand? Why is everyone so fresh? Well, it's because they don't understand. They've
They
never been
don't.
put in that position. And
Mm,
it's not that it was an easy decision for anyone to make. My husband and I, when we got together, we knew that this was going to be a thing. Like we knew
Hmm.
we were going to have to live apart. So we had years to prepare. That's not always the case. And sometimes it's for the mental well-being of your children that you're
Yeah.
staying behind. And that is a good enough reason. So don't think that your reasons are not good or justified by any means. Whatever
Yeah.
works for you and your family, and be okay and be confident in that.
Thank you. That's great advice because, like you said, some get that heads up on this is what geo-batching is going to be about, and others do not, right? They
Yeah.
may not have that say, or, it's down to, for at least us, needs of the Navy. And so maybe they
Yeah.
couldn't bring their family. Like there's so many different circumstances that can
Yeah.
lead to geo-batching. And so, us as military spouses, if we do have to experience it, not having the expectations of others to understand
Yeah.
is ultimately what you're saying with this.
Hmm.
So, thank
Yeah.
you. And then my final question for you, Chelsea, if you could leave our listeners with one message about resilience, community, and mental health, what would it be?
Make it your mental health a priority. Whether you're geobatching or not, it's a huge thing. Like, I mean, I did therapy even when I was quote unquote healed. Like, it is so beneficial. And I always walked away from a session, and military offers free therapy with TRICARE.
Mhm.
And so it's at every, and it's virtual. So making it a priority and taking care of yourself. Like, it is so hard as a military spouse to
Yeah,
do that sometimes. Or honestly, just a
anybody
human
can.
in general. Like, take
We
that
always
back.
add in the
Any
equation.
human. Like, I just think that we've become a nation that is so go, go, go and so ready. Like, after this, I get to sit on my couch with nobody at my house
Yeah,
and read a book and eat whatever I want for dinner. And I intentionally made no plans because I need that. It's been
yes,
a really hard week for me, and
yeah.
I need that moment at my house by myself. And not
I
everybody
love
has
it.
that luxury,
Yeah,
right? So I understand that, but making time for yourself is really important, which will then play into your mental health. So whether it's getting your nails done for an hour, whether it's taking a walk for 20 minutes,
mhm,
like just those small little things can make such a big impact on how you treat yourself, how you treat your spouse, how you treat your kids. Like the little things can make it so much better. And so take that time and be intentional. Try to take a step back and go, what would I tell my kids if you have kids in this and they were going through this? What would your advice be? And I always try to take that and go, okay, I would tell my kids XYZ, and so
yeah,
therefore I should probably do it.
yeah. Decompress moment.
Or
Because
like let the laundry go.
yeah,
Like,
right.
what is it going to do on your couch for an extra day? Like, it will be okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's gonna make it. I promise. Your laundry's not gonna implode in 2 seconds that you don't fold it. And so I
Yes.
think just like giving yourself the grace will
Yes.
also help with that mental health too. Just we are all busy humans. We are all have a lot going on.
Yes.
Even if it's just a regular 9 to 5 job and you have no kids, there's still so much that goes into that.
Mhm.
Like, just give yourself the grace and the space to process whatever it is that you're going through, because good Lord, other people don't give us grace, so we might as well
Right.
give it to ourselves.
Right. So true. So true. Just take a second for that breather.
Yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Well, thank you so much again, Chelsea, for joining and also talking about family and flight, as well as touching on mental health and geo-batching. I look forward to including all of your information in the show notes, and I will also be sharing that when it does go on to Spotify as well. So I am so happy to have you again today. I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been
Of course.
awesome.
Thank you again for tuning in this week. I look forward to bringing you resources, support, and laughter. Sending my love from the desk of a Navy wife.